Do you have any sense of what's happening with COVID in North Korea?
So what I can tell you is that it's hard to imagine that there was no COVID in a country that shares a long border with China, where you had people crossing the border every day. But I can also tell you, having spent so much time in North Korean hospitals and clinics, that they simply do not have the capacity to deal with an epidemic. I mean, most of the hospitals that I went to didn't have running water. And so they all of the signs on the walls were about preventative measures because they didn't have medicine. So I do think that we do know that they took extremely restrictive measures, the most restrictive in the world. They sealed the borders. And that means not just preventing people from coming in, but preventing goods from coming in as well. And they do report testing to the WHO. And I do it on a regular basis. I go to the WHO COVID-19 dashboard just for the heck of it and look at the dashboard. And at the very bottom, 0 positive cases is North Korea, along with a couple Pacific Island nations. Really hard to believe, although I think technically, possibly, they are testing a certain population. And I think that for North Korea's propaganda, Kim Jong-un wants to tell his people, look, I've protected you from this outside threat. Look, we have 0 cases. Whether or not that's true is highly debatable. It's really hard for me to imagine. I think there's more to the border closures than just the pandemic, to be absolutely honest. He's trying to control that flow of information. He's trying to stop these people from going back and forth, because not only do these people bring things from the outside world, they bring movies, they bring content, they bring ideas, they bring information. And I think what we're seeing is North Korea in the middle of a complete clampdown on information from the outside. And the pandemic provides an opportunity to really close ranks and regain control over the people.
And you've also done a lot of work around cyber. How active are the North Koreans right now in terms of malware attacks and other sorts of cyber efforts internationally?
During the years that I was in North Korea, I was seeing this incredible emphasis on computers, on science and technology, and it was all associated with Kim Jong-un. So it was really about creating this mythology about this young man who was their new leader, who was really modern. They called him a computer genius, and I was thinking, great, I would love to see North Korea open up, access the internet, join the global community the same way that South Korea has. But this wasn't happening. The North Korean people were not allowed, for the most part, to access the internet. And yet I was also looking at this wondering, is there another purpose? Is there an ulterior motive? Is there a nefarious purpose for developing all this science and technology? And so that was really where I started with thinking about cyber as well. Because we know that the North Koreans are always thinking strategically. We know that they're facing a lot of sanctions that are preventing them from getting the money into the country to build the nuclear program and also to keep the elites happy. So what is better than cyber than not only covering their tracks, being surreptitious, getting around sanctions, getting around border closures. Sanctions and border closures won't matter if you're adept at cyber. Now, it's just mind-boggling. The other thing is that they fly so under the radar, because you're thinking this is a country where most people can't connect to the internet. So how are they building one of the world's most aggressive cyber armies? And that's what I explore in my podcast, The Lazarus Heist, for the BBC World Service, is how does a country where most people can't connect to the internet, where they don't have electricity, build this cadre, this group of cyber soldiers who really are some of the most aggressive in the world. And I think we have to worry about it, not only because they are targeting us and trying to emulate and learn how we live our lives and how vulnerable we are because we rely on the internet, but that money that they're able to get back goes toward the nuclear weapons program. And so it has a consequence with huge ramifications in terms of global security. You're talking about people who have every motivation in the world to invest strategically in cyber to get around all the challenges they have to bringing in the money that they need to build those weapons and to keep that elite class loyal to Kim Jong Un.